Lecture to the War here, and today we're doing a video on this battle. It's not a Doomstack video, it's not a disaster battle, this is something else entirely. I'm going to jump into the battle and sort of explain what's going on here, because something very weird is going on beyond what the game is telling you in this sort of situation. So we've just got 2 units here, and it says decisive defeat, and we're going up against 4 armies. Now, there is something going on that you're gonna find really interesting, but you gotta watch the whole video to know the full extent of it, because there's things here that you might think are a bit familiar, but it goes deeper. So what we've got is an Infernal Castellan here, who we're just using it to tether us to the ground, and a Death Wizard. The primary purpose of this Death Wizard is to just immediately rout all the enemy forces. So what we're going to do is just let them get organized. Oh, they don't want to get organized. Okay, because if we have a look at them over here, it's on very high battle difficulty. The enemy forces have next to no leadership. They've got very low leadership, right? Yeah, their base value's been absolutely destroyed. All we have to do is rout Kroq-Gar, and all I have to do to rout Kroq-Gar is pop down Doom and Darkness on him once. See, if it wasn't for very hard battle difficulty, his leadership would be practically 0. Because it's just that difficulty modifier and flank secured. But even with that, this doesn't protect him from this. Now, we've seen this kind of thing before with other factions. Now, all I gotta do is escort him off the battlefield. But here's the thing, the Chaos Dwarves have it to the greatest extent that I've ever seen it, because it's actually bugged. Oh, hang on a sec here. Oh god, I'm gonna get killed by the bloody skirmishers. Just gotta escort Kroq-Gar off the battlefield so that these guys here don't get the leadership buff from him. Just escort him off the battlefield. Would be better to kill him in the scenario here, but we don't need to. Don't worry about shooting. So just escort him off. Okay, and then watch as their leadership just absolutely disintegrates. They're done. I don't even need to really do this again. They're all just gonna rout. They're just done. That's it, just watch them leave the battlefield. All they had to do is rout Kroq-Gar. Look at that, they come onto the battlefield and just immediately rout. So this will last as long as that leadership penalty goes on, which shouldn't take too long. Because it's a -16 penalty, and even on very hard battle difficulty, they would need some sort of leadership boosting on the battle ability in order to counteract this. These units here might rally, because the... Oh, never mind, they got army lost. Too many of their units ran away. So, yep. 0 casualties inflicted. Heroic victory incoming. But here's the thing. You gotta see what's going on in the campaign map to realize just how absolutely fucked every faction that goes up against this is going to be. So, there we go. 0 casualties on both sides, heroic victory. So all you have to do is just pop down Doom and Darkness on the Lord until they run off the battlefield. Now, if you're playing on lower than very hard battle difficulty, obviously the enemy leadership bonuses are going to be reduced, because you can't get rid of that. You can only get rid of their leadership on the campaign map, so that side of things goes to 0. But then, of course, the Lord will provide an area of effect of leadership, so that's why it was so important to get rid of him. And then, of course, when he leaves the battlefield, he causes a -16 penalty for a short time, but that completely strips them away of any leadership, so they will just run. That's why you gotta do it quickly as well, especially if reinforcements are coming in, so that they can leave the battlefield in that amount of time before the penalty expires. So we don't gain much for it because we didn't kill anything. But it's just funny that we can do that. Now, let's show what's going on here. Now, as many of you probably suspected, yes, we're using hero traits. They don't have to be attached into the army, but here's the thing. It's so much worse than what it actually seems like, right? So, the trait here is manipulative. Okay, and it says control -5 local enemy province, enemy leadership -4 enemy armies in local province. Now here's the thing, we've seen similar sort of things to this before, where like the fear of Nurgle-stink, right? But it's always been enemy armies in the local region. Now the local province there, that's the key difference here. Now, just to talk about basic things, the region is Lamia that we're in here, but the province is Crater of the Walking Dead. So these guys here are actually reducing the leadership of everything in the province, meaning this guy here who's at Labaris is also suffering from these problems. So these guys don't even need to be anywhere near the armies that are currently engaged with this. So they don't need to be attached to the army, and they just need to be in the same province. Now here's the real kicker, right? If we have a look at this, okay, see how this guy here has still got 5 leadership left? Now, if we add up all of these guys here, there was, I think, 18 of them. So, 18 of these guys, reducing it by 4 each, shouldn't really be able to cause Krokgar to go down to 0 leadership, right? Because he would have much higher than 80 base leadership, right? And it's not going to show me exactly what it is. So there's some other things here that's not being accounted for dropping his leadership by that much. Because how is it that Krokgar has 0 leadership, but this generic idiot over here has 5? And these Saur Spears here have 12, but these ones have 0. And even though these ones here have more experience, what's going on? Well, why don't we just grab one of these guys here. Let me just showcase this again. They're at 12 leadership. Why don't we grab one of these guys and move him into the region? Okay, so now he is actually in Libaris. Notice how their leadership went down by 4? What's happening with the manipulative trait is that they are reducing the leadership by 4 in the local province and by 4 in the local region. So they're actually reducing the leadership in the local region by fucking 8, which is double more than any other character is able to do just with their trait. So you need half as many of these guys in order to cause the exact same problems that other factions can cause, like Dread Incarnate with the vampire counts, Pompous with the Lizardman. Lizardman can do this. The Fear of Nurgle-stink, I always can't remember the exact name of it, for the Beastmen. There are some others out there, I think, that can do it. But the Chaos Dwarves are the only ones that double up on their trait like this because it's bugged. So it's just so brokenly overpowered. The only thing that can resist something like this are units that are completely unbreakable. And the thing is, this isn't the first time somebody submitted a manipulative stack. A couple of people have already sent them in, but this was sort of like the best one to showcase it. So it just makes your armies essentially impossible to lose. And the thing is, you can pop these in your like regions that are likely to come into attack. And if someone attacks your settlement, you can't really lose because they'll attack and just immediately rout. So it's absolutely hilarious watching some of the bravest units in the game run almost instantly with no effort required. And Death Magic's especially good for doing that, just popping down Doom and Darkness on units that just maybe aren't quite at 0 leadership. But anyway, thought I'd showcase that. Just to summarize it, what's going on is the manipulative trait is actually doubling up. It's enemy leadership 4 in the local province and in the local region. So it's doubling up on its thing, on its ability, primarily in the local region. So it's still going to provide what its stated effect is in the local province. So if we have a look at the garrison of Mahrak, for example, we'll see that they're... Actually, I think it only applies to... Is it only applying to armies? Oh, no, that's a different province. Yeah, right, that's a different province, so it's not affecting that. But, yeah, it is affecting the garrison here as well. So that's absolutely hilarious. Anyway, feel free to go and use that. It's pretty easy to get loads and loads of traits these days because you can just save them from one campaign and then use them in another. So that's really cool. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Use it, don't use it, it's entirely up to you. I just think it's hilarious that you can do something like this in the campaign. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for sending this in, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.